Alright, book nerds, on this episode of the podcast, I'll be speaking with Mary Ting, author of the I Send book series and When the Wind Chimes. We've had the pleasure of talking with Mary in the past, and it's always been a great conversation, and I'm looking forward to hear what she's been up to and about the latest book in the I Send series. I'm also excited to hear all about her romance novel, When the Wind Chimes, which recently won an award. Let's get to it and catch up with Mary. All right, book nerds, we're now speaking with author Mary Ting. Welcome back to the JeanBookNerd podcast. It's great to have you again.
Hi, Eric. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
Good, good. Thank you for asking.
Absolutely. Well, I'm really excited to talk to you. I know you've been very, very busy, and I'm excited to hear all about everything you've been up to and all the announcements that you have. I heard you have a few announcements to make, so let's get to it.
Okay.
As we know, but some people might not know, you are the author of the amazing I Sand book series. Can you tell us a little bit about that book series?
Well, if you didn't know, book 4 just came out not too long ago. It's called Code.
Nice.
And Eisen is book 1. Book 2 is Helix. It's pretty thick. Book 3 is Genes and Code. And each book, what I was told is that the world gets bigger and bigger with each book. And also you get to learn more about the characters in the story. And I was told that the action and the plot, it gets more intense with every book. And book 4, Code, I know it's my own book and I don't want to toot my own horn, but I was told that it was just the best. And as an author, it's such a great feeling when your readers are, when they tell you that. But let me give you a little background of book 1. So for those of the readers who didn't read Eisen series, you can get an idea of what the book is about. Is that okay, Eric?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm just going to kind of read a little quick summary. So ISAN stands for International Sensory Assassin Network. It's a young adult dystopian science fiction. So just think of it as in the future where the meteors devastated the Earth, world government developed plans to help surviving citizens, the United States disbanded, and salvageable lands were divided into 4 quadrants. Struggling to survive is her 17-year-old Ava ends up in juvenile detention until she is selected for a new life with the catch. She must be injected with the experimental serum. The result will be life-changing. This serum will make her better. To receive the serum, Ava agrees to join a program controlled by Eisen. While on a mission, she is abducted by a rebel group led by Red and told that not only does she have a history with him, but her entire past is a lie to ensure her compliance. Ava must decide if her strangely familiar and handsome captor is her enemy or her savior. So there you go.
Fantastic. It sounds like a great book series. I'm sure everyone will love it. And I will fully admit, personally, I am currently reading this book series. I am on book 3. And as you said, each book just gets deeper and deeper into the world. You learn more about the characters and the backstories. And it is a phenomenal book series. It is by far, I think it's safe to say it's my favorite book series.
Well, thank you, Eric.
So I remember talking to some friends about it and introducing them to it, and they were like, overall, like, give us a couple sentences to describe it to us. And I said, did you ever read the Hunger Games books? And I definitely read those too. And they're like, yeah. I was like, have you heard of the series Divergent? And they're like, yeah. Like, imagine taking the best of those two series, those two worlds, combining them and then multiplying it by like 100. And that's ISAN.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Like, I just absolutely love this world that you've created, and all of these characters is just phenomenal.
Well, I can't believe I created this world, to be honest. Sometimes I don't plan things. And as I continue to write each book, ideas just kind of flow, and I try to make it better, not just for the characters themselves, but for the reader to have just this great experience getting to know the characters and the settings and just the world of the dystopian science fiction itself. So I'm happy. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, within this world, you've created so many characters with so many backstories. I've got to ask, I know you're the author, you love all of the characters and everything you've created, but do you have a favorite character of all the characters that you've created in this series? Do you have a favorite?
Well, I have to say Ava, and Ava is our protagonist. Only because when I write about the main characters, especially when if it's a female, I try to make her a little bit like me because I can develop her better. So my friends who read some of my books, they might say, especially when they read about Ava, they might say, "Oh, that's what Mary would say," or "That's what Mary would do." So Ava is my favorite character.
Gotcha. Well, it's easy to see why, because if you read the book series, you know that Ava is not only a strong character, but she's badass.
Well, thank you.
She is. So also,
not that I'm an assassin, but
if you were, would you really tell us?
I would want to be like Ava.
Well, I know the type of person you are, and I know you don't like to brag, so I'm going to do the bragging for you. For those who aren't aware, this book series has won many awards, and I've got a list here, so I'm gonna read off because I want to make sure to get all these correct, and I had to write them down because there's a lot of them. You won a gold medal award in science fiction and fantasy at 2019 Benjamin Franklin Awards, a gold medal science fiction post-apocalyptic 2018 American Fiction Awards, another one for science fiction 28 International Book Awards, adult thriller 2019, young adult action. I'm starting to run out of breath here. Young adult fiction sci-fi. I mean, you've won so many awards. How does that make you feel? It must feel surreal.
First of all, I can't believe it. And when my agent told me to enter these awards, I was thinking, oh, well, okay, I'll go ahead and do it, but I'm not going to win anyways. And then when I got that email and when I found out that I won gold and not silver or not second place, it's just a surreal, great feeling. I wrote this book on an idea that I had a while back. And when my agent told me to write it, I was very excited because I felt like, okay, if she believes in the story, I need to believe in the story myself. And I had so much fun writing about the characters and the setting. And I wrote the book without looking at the numbers of words or how many words I was writing per day. And next thing I knew was that I was done. And I'm thinking, holy cow, like, when did I finish this book? That's how much fun I had writing it. And it's not just one book, the whole series itself. And just to be able to look at the awards, not just one, but several of them or more, is just a great feeling. And it's a very humbling, I'm just thankful and grateful for the wins. But so this is what happens afterwards. It's like, we're celebrating such a great moment. And then, okay, onward. I got to write the next book.
Well, as I said, I am currently reading the book series. It's phenomenal. And if anybody else has been, reading these books, it's easy to see why it's won so many awards.
Oh, thank you so much.
Well, speaking of awards, I know you have another book that recently won an award, and I'm going to read the award again because I want to make sure to pronounce it and correctly. So I'm going to look at my notes. You recently won a gold award in the romance category. It's the Cops Featherington.
Featherling.
Featherling. Sorry, my bad.
That's okay.
Pronunciation, not my strong suit. Featherling Book Award for the book When the Wind Chimes.
There it is.
Can you tell us a little bit about this book?
Well, instead of reading the summary, let me give you a review that I found on Amazon. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Love to hear what other people think.
Okay, so, well, first of all, this story is based in Kauai, and have you been to Hawaii before, Eric?
I have a long time ago, but I have been once.
I love going there because it just feels like I'm going to like a second heaven, if that's even such a thing, like almost a heaven, I guess. And it just feels so relaxing. And I feel like every time I go there, all my stress and all the worries just kind of leave or stay with me and stay in LA. And I get to go to this beautiful island and just relax and enjoy myself. That's the feeling that Hawaii gives to me. And I wanted to write a book where the character is having, she just had a breakup and she is on her way to visit her sister in Kauai. And I'm not going to go too much into details about it, but let me first of all tell you that I was very excited when the Wind Chime was selected, and it was featured in First for a Woman magazine. And I'm just going to read you a short review where it says the sweeping island scenery and romance left me feeling refreshed. This was a mini escape. And I was so excited to, first of all, to have my book featured in First for a Woman magazine, just to be able to go to the market, grab that magazine and flip through it, and then to see my name and the book. It was so exciting. I wish I was able to show you a copy, but I left it in the other room. But anyways, so that was an exciting moment, and to win a gold award, that was even additional excitement. But let me quickly read you the review of When the Wind Chimes. Was a cozy feel-good read, sprinkled with Christmas, family, and love. This book had all the feels of a Hallmark movie. I love that I keep finding myself smiling, and I even had to wipe a few tears away while reading, with low angst and an ending that had my heart happy long after I finished the last page. I absolutely adore this book. If you're looking for a Christmas story that will warm your heart, then definitely pick this one up. One more. Dear Hallmark, do you need a story? This one is it. Mary Ting gets 5 Christmas stars from this holiday-loving reader. Kate and Lee will enchant you with their slow-burning romantic dance. When the Wind Chimes will dazzle you with picturesque world and exotic environment. Do not miss this read. Download, grab your blanket, get comfortable, and settle in for an attention-grabbing novel. So I hope that explains what the story is about, Eric.
It does. It does. Thank you for sharing that. And it's always great to hear not just from you about, your own books, but to hear what other readers have to say and what their thoughts and their reviews on, your books. And it must just warm your heart knowing that people are just loving your work so much.
And it does, because I think that readers get the full story and they are able to explain it better through reviews, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely.
And just, for me to read those reviews and you could just understand what the story is about without me kind of giving you the summary, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we all know you, and I'm sure many people in the world know you as author Mary Ting. But when you're not writing, what do you like to do? What are some other things that we can learn about you in this interview? What are some of your other hobbies that maybe people might not know about or maybe find surprising?
I used to oil paint and make jewelries. And even though I don't do it often, sometimes I like to do that just to relax and just step away from writing a book. But I also really enjoy watching movies and TV series. And even though I'm Korean, I feel so bad. I didn't watch Korean drama until this year. So I've been trying to catch up and watching a lot of those Korean romance and fantasies, and I'm really enjoying it. So I have to say I've been watching a lot of TVs lately.
Well, I also heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, but speaking of movies and TV shows, I heard about some news about one of your books. Are the rumors true?
Yes. So the Eisen series have been optioned for, I'm trying to bring my book for a movie or a TV series. So fingers crossed, and hopefully we'll hear some news soon. So
That would be amazing to see this book turn into a movie or a TV show. I would love to see either of them. Personally, again, just this is my personal opinion. I would love to see it done as like a TV series just because you created such a huge world and so many characters to like, I feel like to really dive deep into, into the story and really learn the characters. I feel like it would be really hard to do that even in a movie series.
yeah, I would personally like to see a TV series too, because like you said, and there's so many characters
Yeah.
that in order for the whole series to be developed well, I think the TV series would definitely work better. But
Yeah, because I mean, if you've read Harry Potter books and seen the movies, Hunger Game books and read the movies, like the
yeah,
movies are fantastic. I love them. But when you read the books, there's so much that has to get cut. It just, and obviously it makes sense. Otherwise, there'd be 1,000 movies for the entire series, and there's no way to do that. But I would love to see these turn into either a TV show or a movies and really get to see these characters come to life on the big screen.
well, thank you, Eric. But I'll take a movie.
Absolutely. Won't turn either of them down.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Well, congratulations. That's amazing news. And thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you. And oh, let me share you one more thing with you.
Okay.
So I'm going to announce the title of book 5, which as of right now is the final book of the Eisen series, but we never know. When I get to the end, I might think, oh, you know what? I need to continue this story because of blah, 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 blah. But anyways, so our book 5 is called Ava, which is very
nice.
cool.
You heard it here on JeanBookNerd podcast first. Book 5 title, Ava. Nice. So as you're creating, this immense world, it's a huge landscape. You're ranging continents. You've got so many groups and characters. How do you keep track of it all? Do you like outline everything? Do you have like maps with lines drawn all over the place? Do you have like pages and books of notes of like trying to keep track of everything?
Well, when I first started writing Eisen, I was just writing from chapter to chapter. And then I would write the name of the characters down on my notepad. But when I got to book 2, and there were so many more characters to keep in mind, I had to write everything down more into even more detail. And I would write them on post stickers and just, rebel team here. And here's the Eisen team here. And just put all these sticky notes everywhere and divide them into like groups, and who is in the north quadrant, who is from the south quadrant. So it's like a huge board, and then you'll see all these sticky notes, but it works perfectly well for me.
Hey, it's a system that you've set up, and hey, as long as it works for you, that's all that matters.
And I've been using that for my other series that's coming out next year, which I can't wait to tell you about it, but I can't say anything now.
Oh, you're killing me. Saying something like that and not being able to go into detail.
I know, sorry. But maybe next time I'll tell you, like I'll whisper in your ear when I
Yes, well now we're gonna have to have you come back on to tell us more in the future once you can talk to us about it.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I really can't wait to tell everyone. So right now,
Well, with the new book coming out, are we going to get to go to any new locations? Is there any, because we've been to, a bunch of different land masses and continents and places. Is the latest ISN book going to take us to any new places?
Oh yes, in book 5, let's see, I'm trying to not spoil anything, but in end of book 4, you'll find out that Ava needs to go to Korea. And so book 5, I am going to introduce you to Korean Assassin. And the main character, I actually name her after my Korean name, which is Hejin. That's my Korean name. So you're gonna have to wait and read more about it. But I went to Korea about just before the pandemic started. And I got to go to places like Sokcho and other places that I can't think at the top of my head right now. But at the time, wherever I was thinking, oh my gosh, this would be a really cool place for them to have this like fight scene, or this will be a cool place to hide the rebel base, or where they're going to pop out from the ocean. And that was going in my mind the whole time I was there. I mean, I was enjoying my time and enjoying the scenery, but my mind was going like all different direction of this will happen and that will happen. So now I have to write it down.
Well, I can't wait to, as I said at the beginning of this podcast, you've created such an expansive world and so many characters that, you know, I've become emotionally and mentally invested in this series. I'm on book 3, just, barely even gotten into it, but I'm loving it. And I can't wait to, explore even more of the world and, the cultures that you introduce and all these amazing characters and just learn more about them and just, and just continue on this amazing storyline that you've made.
Well, thank you so much. I really can't wait for you to get to book 4 because in book 4, I answer a lot more questions, and the story is also told from different points of view. Like you'll get inside Justine's head, and she's a pretty crazy character, right?
Yes, I do.
And also Counselor Chang. I love her character. She's just amazing and a very strong character, and she loves her people, but you're just gonna have to wait. I forgot to mention that Ava book 5 will be coming out in May 2022, and also I have another book coming out, the romance book. Even though it's not really book 2, it could be read as a standalone, but I think also if you read When the Wind Chimes first, you'll get a full experience if you read the second book after When the Wind Chimes. And the second book is called Seashell of Ohana, and that's coming out in November. So actually, for those of you who are listening, now you know the title because I didn't reveal it anywhere else except for today or right now.
Man, we're just getting some good exclusives on the JeanBookNerd podcast today.
Eric, do you know what Ohana means?
If I remember correctly from a childhood movie that I used to watch, Ohana means family.
Yes, that's true. And as you know, this Seashell of Ohana is the title of book 2, and the series is called Spirit of Ohana. And the reason why I picked the series name Spirit of Ohana is because Ohana, like you said, means family, but it also means family, but not necessarily by blood. And any person can be your Ohana, like your best friend or your neighbor or anyone who is special in your life. So the series is very warm and touching. And even though like these characters are not blood family, but they help each other because of their friendship. and the love for each other. So that's what you'll get out of the Spirit Ohana series.
That's beautiful. That sounds fantastic. I'm sure, readers of When the Wind Chimes will love, the second book, the second book in the series, kind of continuing the story.
It's a little bit more, I had several teary eyes when I was writing that book. So it's very touching. But I hope the readers will enjoy it as much as I had fun writing it.
So that actually brings me to my next question, is that for any readers or listeners who are listening and they love your work and they kind of they're inspired or they want to try their hand at writing, what's what's your biggest tip for those people?
My advice is find the time and get the words down on the computer or on a notepad, whichever you feel comfortable, because you can't edit what you don't have. Does that make sense, Eric?
No, absolutely.
Yeah. And for me, I never wanted to be an author. Once I had a story in my head and I just needed to get it out, and the just passion got bigger, and I was so determined to get this book done, I found the time. Even if it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, even if it was when I was brushing my teeth, I'll still type a couple of words here and there. You just have to make the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important that you, depending on what genre that you want to write, to see what's out there and also reach out to authors. I also answer emails. Readers reach out to me, especially those who want to be an author, and ask questions. The more you ask, the more you know about whether it's editing or cover designing, whatever you need to know. There are many resources out there that you just don't have to do it all on your own. So just reach out to someone as well.
No, I think that's a fantastic advice. And, I think it's also important for people to remember that, with, for 99% of people and with anything that people are interested in doing, unless, there's a select few, most people, when they first start anything, they're probably not going to be great at it. I mean, I have tons of things that I love to do that I started out and I was horrible at them. That's what's the great thing about, writing, or if you do, photography, painting, whatever, is if you start out and you're not happy with the work, no one else has to know. No one ever has to read it.
Definitely.
I mean, I do photography, and man, I am so glad my earliest photos that I took when I was starting out, those are gone. Like, I deleted those. Yeah. No one will ever see those because those are horrible, because I had no clue what I was doing.
Well, just like when I was writing my first book, I had no idea what I was doing. And luckily I had my friend who helped me develop the story to let me know, like, I don't feel it in this chapter, or, you need to have a better ending. I think that writing it doesn't have to be where you just do it up by yourself. Mm-hmm. Of course, these are your ideas and thoughts, but reach out to other authors, people who can help you. You don't have to do this by yourself.
Absolutely. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but even even the best writers, like, they have editors, they have people who go through, they check the spelling, they, oh, you take this out, move this over here. Like you said, it's, someone comes up with the story and the overall idea and everything, but other people do help along the way. It's not one person doing everything themselves.
Oh yeah, definitely. And finding a good editor is very, very important. I learned the hard way.
Well, I know you mentioned that people can reach out to you,
Mm-hmm.
and ask questions. You answer them. They can tell you about, the books and what they're reading and they're enjoying. What are the best platforms and where can they reach out to you at?
Definitely, they can email me, author Mary Ting @outlook.com, or I'm on Instagram, which is author Mary Ting. I'm on Twitter too, but I think the message gets through better through either Instagram or Facebook. And definitely my email address that's linked to my website, which is either you can type in authormaryting.com or tangletalesofting.com. And the reason why I have that name is because I also write twisted fairy tales. And Jacqueline and the Beanstalk is one of my books. And it's a gender twisted fairy tale story.
Awesome. Well, so you've got so many great, amazing books and book series. Where can our listeners and our viewers go to get their copies of these books?
All my books are sold worldwide. Amazon, Nook, iTunes. I can't think of the other platforms. But if you,
I know there's like Barnes and Noble. I'm assuming they're available at Barnes and Nobles.
Oh yes, definitely. And especially the books that have been published with Vesuvian Books, the Eisen series, Jacqueline the Beanstalk. I believe Rose When the Wind Chimes. Barnes and Noble definitely can carry them as well. I did some signing at Barnes and Noble, so there might be stocked at some of the bookstores, but definitely just go to Amazon and other platforms depending on where you live.
Gotcha. So I'm assuming if people just go online and type in, your name or go to your website, they can find out where the books are available. Oh yeah,
definitely. Go to Tangle Tales of Ting or authormaryting.com and you can go to where my books are located. And if you click on that, it says buy, and it will lead you to where books are located. If they're not, definitely best way to go is go to Amazon, go to search and just punch in Mary Ting and all the books will show up. Now, or just reach out to me.
Absolutely. Hey, when in doubt, go straight to the author. It sounds like a good way to me. For those who may, like to not only read, but also listen to audiobooks, are some of your books available in audiobook format?
Some of my self-published books are, but definitely Eisen. And I love her voice. I had to listen to the whole taping, and I was just so mesmerized by her voice that I forgot that it was my own story.
You're like, this sounds familiar. Wait, I know what's happening. I know it's going to come now. Oh, that's right. I wrote it.
She did an amazing job. I mean, you could just totally feel just at the moment what's going on with Ava. And I hope that hopefully the other books will be in audio as well. But we're getting there.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us here at JeanBookNerd. As always, fantastic to have you on and chat with you. And I'm very excited that we got a few first exclusives and some announcements. And I'm sure not only myself, but I want to end by saying, as I've said many times already, these books are great. But I think what's so great and what's unique about your book series, at least in my personal view, is that while they are aimed at a certain, age and demographic, I feel like they can be read by anybody of any age and they can really enjoy it. It's not, it's not, oh, these are for, young girls only. Like, I'm a 32-year-old guy and I'm loving these books. And
that makes me so happy, Eric.
Like, I have no problem admitting I'm in my early 30s. I'm reading these books and I'm in love with the characters and the story and the entire world that you've created.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate hearing that, and it makes me really happy. I do. It does.
Well, thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure, and it's been so great talking to you again. And we'll have to have you on after all the books have been released, and we can talk about the whole book series and dive deeper and learn see where things are at.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for listening and for being here. I appreciate all your support. Just wanted to say that.
Absolutely. That's all for now. And if you're like me and currently reading the Eisen books, I'm sure you're just as anxious as I am to get the latest book in the series. And if romance is more your style, not to worry, as Mary has you covered with When the Wind Chimes. That's all for this episode, so stay tuned for the next episode of the podcast. And any parting words for our listeners before we sign off, Mary?
This is Mary Ting. I'm the author of Aizan series and When the Wind Chimes, and you're listening to JeanBookNerd.com.